Hello there. So I decided to come to the classroom and record this. And so we are going to read The Magic School Bus, Inside the Human Body. Now, these books you've probably looked at. They are a little different than normal books. These books, you might say, oh, but Mrs. Mercier, these are so easy to read. Well, they're fairly easy to read, but there's a lot of information in them. And so it's best to discuss how to read them. So when we look at these books, there's a lot of things going on in the picture. All right. Not only do we have the story itself, but we also have thought bubbles or conversation bubbles that we have to look at. And so there's a lot of things going on in these books that may be overwhelming for some of us. Okay. So one thing that we need to know about this is that it is a combined text, okay? The combined really means that it's two stories, essentially. We have the story of the Magic School Bus itself, but then you also have the story of the conversation bubbles, and it's also, in this particular type of book, it's also giving you some scientific information, okay? One of the things I like about these books is that it does give us real information that can be helpful. I keep turning around here because I have my little cheat sheet back here to make sure I don't forget anything. So when we talk about our lesson this week, we are focusing on the human body. Okay, so we're talking about your body. So everything in here is going to be about your body. And so the first thing I want you to do is, if you have this book at home, go ahead and grab it out and use it. If not, you will have a copy that's emailed to your parents. They can either print it out or you can use the computer to read it. Either way. So here we go. On the first page, we've got a lot of things, like I said, going on. This is Mrs. Frizzle, and she's talking about them learning about themselves. And she says this should interest you, Arnold. Arnold, you'll figure out, is not so excited about learning some things, right? He gets really overwhelmed by a lot of things. And then we have the other students in the class. She has a very small class, okay? The illustrations that are on these pages have a lot of facts on them. It's illustrating different parts of your body, different things that are inside of your body. And so we need to make sure that we are aware of those things going on. Now, if I asked you what kind of genre do you think this book is, so is it fact or is it fiction, you might say fact. However, even though it has factual information in it, it's actually a fictional book, okay? Mrs. Frizzle is not a real person. It's a fantasy, okay? The things that they do in this school are not feasible. You can't really do them. It would be fun, though, right now. But you can't. So it's more of a fantasy. The main character would be Miss Frizzle, and then her students. Okay, we don't have to name the students by name, but Miss Frizzle is the main character of the story, and then all of her students. That's really all you ever see. You don't see any other characters, maybe once in a while. She does have a pet lizard. Okay, so you might see him. The setting is going to always be at school during the day. Because when do you go to school? During the day, all right? So, and it's the Magic School Bus, so obviously they're at school. The other thing, we need to make sure that we realize that this text feature is in sequence. All right, it happens in order. It can't just happen randomly. We're not just talking about random things. It's going to be in order, okay? So, those are the things that we need to really look at. And you should have your response booklet handy. And so some of that information that I just gave you would be in your response booklet that you need to fill out. So if you have questions about that, make sure you let me know. But it should be pretty straightforward about what you need to fill out. I'll pull mine up here, and go over the questions just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so you're only doing page 1 today. And if you want to do page 2, you may go ahead and do page 2, but you'll have to read the book. Okay, I'm not going to read the book to you this time. So page 1 for sure in your response booklet, and then page 2 if you want to. Otherwise, we'll do page 2 tomorrow. All right, happy reading.